Hi everybody, this is my voiceover for Titan Wars for uh, the early June of 2016. Um, this was our weakest performance in a long time. We took third this time around, which is still pretty good. We're not too upset about third. Really, anywhere in the top three is pretty difficult to get, and there's so many just random variables that happen in battles that it's difficult, if not impossible, to just be consistently winning all the time. Definitely a lot of good competition this time around. The teams that beat us definitely earned it. They did really well, and we had a good showing from all the teams. We're doing our normal strategy with 3 Friggas and Thor. Sometimes we used to do 2 Friggas, a Thor and an Odin, to get all 6 elements in there, but lately we've been doing the 3 Friggas. Nothing too exciting with our strategy going on here. Really, what we try to do is put out a lot of damage output early in the fight to take out the opponent's Eudaimon and weaker players, and then we have them outnumbered, and we can take out the tougher players who could beat any one of us individually. Like Enchantress here is extremely dangerous and would, crush most of us in one-on-one, but since we can take out her team early on, we're able to pull out a win. Here they only had 3 players. We don't know if they just had someone not show up or what was going on with that. If they intentionally chose to only run 3 to try to win on time. I know people have done that in the past, and time was definitely a factor this month because these Titans are making the battles last longer and longer just because there's more time between attacks, and then players have more shields as well. We have a pretty good mix of attack and defense. Sparkhawk is using the defensive spec for Knights and is able to throw out a lot of shields before she goes into Sylph mode. And then both her Wind Ranger and my Sacred Knight are both throwing out shields as well, which helps keep us alive. And then Lilbish and Asher are set to do a lot of damage. And I am a little bit too. I don't even know what I'm doing this month. I don't remember what I was doing. Asher can finally do his first turn, Lightbringer. He got up to 100 starting rage. Looks like Big Bailey's doing that same strategy, but we got him chaosed. Looks like I'm throwing out chaoses in my first round. And then not even doing a second attack. I'll just go right into Sylph mode. There I used Starring Crescent to purify Lilbish because he got chaosed. And so I think that was unnecessary though, because Asher did the Lightbringer, and Lightbringer has a purify effect as well, so we just didn't coordinate and communicate right there. Here Big Bailey's using level 5 Inspiration, which is a lot. We see that inspiration once in a while. Lilbish is using 3. I think he's the only inspiration on our team. We do have Big Bailey's team outnumbered, but he also has 3 very tough players, which makes it still a dangerous fight, to say the least. And it looks like at least one of their players is running a defensive spec. I see some defensive buffs going up there, maybe Elvin. They have a pretty good mix going on too. They're able to keep shields up pretty much the whole time, which is kind of what we try to do as well. Throwing up their Frigga shields and their Guardian runes. So here, there's not a lot we can do about that because none of those can be dispelled, so we're just keeping our own shields up. Asher and I just keep on throwing up our heals and shields and steals and try to keep Lilbish doing a lot of damage. But we can't break through their Frigga shields. Here, trying to get back into self mode immediately. I'm using, yeah, that's why I'm not doing anything. Alright, we won that one on time. I'm intentionally not doing any attacks at the start, so that if I drop out of self mode, I'll have 100 rage, and I can immediately cast Lightbringer after going into self mode. So I'm saving rage early in the fight. Didn't quite get a chance to use it in that fight, but if the fight had gone a little longer, I think that last one would have been useful. There, Sparkhawk already died and revived. Shady's team just hits really hard. They're doing kind of the same strategy we are, to just hit really hard early on. We're taking damage and then healing and taking damage again. That was my Titan, my healing Titan, that just got me back up when I was about to die. I'm casting more heals, more shields, trying to do everything we can to stay alive. And the other team is doing the same thing. Onslaught's already bouncing down. With the res reduction as high as it is, and the Titans giving these crazy, like 90% damage protection and stuff, these fights are decided in a single move, a single attack sometimes, and so it's really exciting in these fights. They're crazy. You can't control what's going on, and everything just is kind of up in the air. So that's really fun stuff. Here's Chili, starting with a big attack. We always hope that Sparkhawk's shield goes off before. Yep, there we go. We got that shield. So now when Chili hits us, we barely take any damage and only lose 1 Udamon. And that's exactly what we try to do. Chili already lost most of his team, and we have a strong upper hand now because it's 7 against 2. So we're doing really good here. I'll just take a moment to talk about War of Eternity this last week. I'm not going to post a video from that one. Lil Bish and I had some technical issues playing the game, actually. The recording came out fine, but in battle we just had a lot of lag and some disconnects, and I had to do 2 of the rounds by myself without Lil Bish there, and so we ended up just losing a lot. So I'm not going to post a video on that because it's not really interesting to watch. We just lose all the time, and there aren't any good fights. And here was actually a no-show here in Titan Wars. One group didn't show up. We don't see that very often. Like, nobody in their entire party showed up. So I don't know which team that was, but that was interesting. I guess you could look that up at the end to see which team took last. Here's Zardoz. Very intimidating player. Very, very tanky. And he's using level 6 inspiration to boot. But we're able to keep our 4 players alive and getting into self mode. I usually get into self mode first because I'm not casting a second skill. I can just do a rune, and then as soon as Asher's Lightbringer goes off, I'm jumping up. Which gives us a little bit of advantage. I can start getting shields and heals out, and sometimes a steal is useful early on. Usually it's just better to get shields going. So here's Zardoz with his big Delphic. I think as a group, we were running quite a bit of light and dark resistance though. So it didn't hurt us too bad. Lil Bish is hanging on for dear life right there. And there we got some health back. That's the advantage of running 3 Friggas in our team, because you can keep people alive. There, Bish just died. I didn't see why he didn't get a revive. Maybe he already used it up. And Spark got her revive already, and down she goes. And here, Asher is trying to just stay alive, because we were talking, saying he might have won with on timer if he had managed to survive that last 15 seconds. Oh, there was a bug. Now Lil Bish just revived. Yeah, that's why we lost to Zardoz, because Lil Bish didn't get his revive until the rest of our team was dead. So that was a bug and very unfortunate. Otherwise, we might have, I think we could have beaten Zardoz if it weren't for that. Oh well. And Cyprus's team, Droke Knight, Droke Kelly, and Elmego. They've won Class Wars, or they've won Titan Wars, just about as much as anybody else has. I think they have 2 or 3 first places to their names. Back in the day, we all know Cyprus is kind of a dominant player, and the rest of his team is pretty tough too. Looks like they're doing a similar strategy that we are with the Knight in the defensive spec for Knighthood, throwing out shields and keeping their team tanky and alive, which I think is really the way to go nowadays. If you don't have at least one player throwing out a shield every single round, there's really no way to keep your team alive anymore, unless you all coordinate your Titans or Guardian runes just so that everybody gets a shield every round. Because a single round without a shield will pretty much be a death sentence, because players are just hitting so hard and there's so many of them. We're keeping the Chaos runes flying around pretty well this time as well. Taking less damage because of that, and having our opponents kill each other a little bit instead of us, which is always great. It's always really hard to kill those tanky support players. Defensive spec knights running Friggas like Sparkhawk and Droke Knight over there. Looks like we won that one on time, which is good. So hard to kill those defensive players because they just have so many shields and such high defense and HP stats. The best we can hope for is to just do a lot of damage and win on time like we did there. Now there's something strange going on here where Sparkhawk's Eudaimon is starting with full rage, and my Eudaimon is starting with almost full rage. So pay attention to that in the next fight. We just noticed it partway through the battle and couldn't really figure out a way to capitalize on it, or like why it's even happening, what kind of bug it is. So we just kind of left it and just let it do whatever, because we don't really use their Delphix as much as their other skills anyways. We just thought that was really interesting. So maybe in the future, if we can figure out why it's doing that, we can figure out how to capitalize on it and have certain Eudaimon up that have better Delphix. I don't know. We'll look into it for the future. There, see, mine has almost full, and Sparkhawk starts at full. Tiger Claw over there. Not sure why that is. I don't see any other of the Eudaimon on either side doing that. So here's Ray and Rono and Nighthawk, Ariel. They took first place last month, I believe. I think they did. When we took second. They've always been one of the toughest teams, one of the top 2 or 3 teams, if not the strongest. And certainly they always win cross-server guild battle. So we'll have to see how it goes in finals coming up for that. I haven't posted any videos on cross-server guild battle yet because I don't want to give away our guild's tactics and stuff. But eventually I'll probably start posting some of those to show some of our better battles. So here you can see they're using their Guardian runes and Guardian Titans, same as we are. There I just took a huge amount of damage through a Guardian rune, so they're hitting really hard. And at some point, there's just not a lot you can do against superior stats. We lost Sparkhawk already, and there goes the rest of our team, and we're smoked. So, yeah, that was a pretty one-sided fight. We had a couple chances in there, but really their stats were just higher, and they had more inspiration. and so not a whole lot we could have done. So we had 2 losses this time around and then ended up taking 3rd. Ray Raw and Salander's team, and Nancy, and is that... I can't see who that other player is. I can't really see what kind of, if they're using a specific strategy. They're doing a lot of AoEs early on. They might be trying to drop some of our like 1 or 2 of our players, kind of like what we try to do. And then I see some shields over on them as well. Yeah, Nancy is doing the defensive spec for knights as well, so they do have that defensive thing going as well. So you can see that we're taking damage and losing stuff, but we're able to keep our shields going long enough for Asher to get up and start throwing out shields. Awakening points are bouncing everywhere, which makes it hard to really get any kind of strategy going. When, you know, steals are flying around, and yeah, there's not a whole lot you can do in those situations. We dropped, that's Jez Foulé over there. We dropped him already, which is important, but here Spark and I are down now, so it's 2 against 3. So the numbers battles make a big difference. When it's 2 against 3 or 3 against 4, just dropping a single player just makes such a big difference. Having those extra skills going out. Because everything is cumulative now. And we win that one on time, which was a really good fight. So congratulations to their team. That was a fun fight. A very difficult one, and they fought very, very well. We just kind of got lucky with that win there. And then Trinity and Ice Princess, Senzi, and Devia running a lot of Odins and only 1 Frigga. We don't see that as often. Usually teams are running at least 2 Friggas nowadays. I really think that's the way to go. You really need that many shields and heals going around to stand a chance in these multiplayer environments. But maybe they're using Odins for the defense bonuses, because Odins are really hard to kill, so maybe they're doing it for that reason. I don't know. Just a lot of good strategies going around. Lilbish with his big Delphic. We kind of lean on him a little bit to do a lot of the damage. He has pretty high attack stats, and being an archer, obviously he has some other advantages with increasing damage dealt and things like that. So as long as we can keep him alive, that's why we're all running Friggas, we keep him alive, and then he'll take out our opponents one at a time, and then we'll drop big Delphics once in a while to level the playing field. See, we always have a shield going. You can't, like, even we're down to just 1 player, and I still have my Guardian Shield and Sparkhawk's shield going. You just always got to have something going, and we win that on time as well. Because you just always got to have something reducing the damage. If you take a hit full on, you can get one shot by anybody. Here we got a good Chaos on Mikey first attack, and he kills most of the rest of the team. Or all the Eudaimon anyways. So the Eudaimon don't get any attacks off, and ours are able to all cast their buffs, which gives us actually a pretty big advantage. We're taking like 50% less damage and dealing an extra 25% damage because we got that first round of buffs from our Eudaimon. And they do end up purging those buffs, and I think they purify as well, but that also takes time and skills. I keep on going back and forth about those buffs because a lot of passives will purify or purge them anyways, without costing a turn, but until those proc, I still think it's worth it to have those buffs and debuffs. I don't know. I keep on going back and forth. Today I feel like they're worth it. We'll see how I feel tomorrow. Sorry it took so long to get this video out. Eliatin, or I don't know how she says her name, Ellie. She and I were talking a little bit about making videos and things like that, so it took me a little longer to come out with this one. And also just real life things happen, you know. I have other things to do, especially during Class Wars week. I have so many dimensions and things to do. In-game, I don't have time to make a lot of these extra videos on the side. So this team is also, I only see one Frigga that's alive, but I didn't see what Lustria was using. A lot of Odins and a lot of Friggas, so we're able to defend against those with resistance. So then you can, a lot of people I think are running light, dark, wind, and water resistances, and so you can see Lilbish able to get big hits out there for plus 34% damage or something like that. Which makes a big difference. You know, Ghost Rider's down and Rambo, yeah. Just take him down one at a time. That's why we got Lilbish around. He's our guy for that. And I think this is the only group without Eudaimon that we've seen. So as soon as we saw them, we were immediately saying, alright, so we gotta kill them, because if we go to timer, we're gonna lose. That's always our perspective when we're fighting a team without Eudaimon. And realistically, we probably could have done without Eudaimon on this fight too, because I think only Lilbish and Asher's survived long enough to actually cast any skills. So it was just kind of a waste of taking damage. But Lilbish has got a heal off, which is pretty important. They're doing a pretty good job of staggering their shields, but they just don't have enough. Yeah, they didn't quite time them right, and so we were able to take out Poison Arrow and Ice, who are, I think they're both in Warlord's Hall in Class Wars, as well as Vardoon. And I can't see who that other player is. So this is also a very, very tough team with a lot of individually strong players. They just had a couple gaps in their shields that we were able to exploit. Otherwise, this could have been a much closer fight. And then when it's 1 against 4, it's not even a fight anymore, it's an execution. So, that's it. That was Titan Wars for this month. And we ended up taking 3rd place. Congratulations to the victors, and stay tuned for more videos.